When people want to improve their tea, they usually focus on the tea itself. They search for better loose-leaf tea, higher grades, different origins, new tea shops, perhaps a better teapot, or a more precise brewing method. But what if I told you that the single biggest improvement you can make to your tea has nothing to do with the tea leaves at all? It has to do with the water. Welcome back to TeaMinded. I'm glad you're here. Today we're exploring how water changes the taste of tea, and why many tea professionals consider water just as important as the leaves themselves. At first, this may sound surprising. Tea is mostly water. In fact, a typical cup of tea is more than 98% water. And yet many of us spend considerable time selecting tea, while giving very little thought to the water we're brewing it with. The reality is that water plays a profound role in the final cup. It influences flavor, aroma, texture, sweetness, bitterness, even the appearance of the tea. The same tea brewed with different water can taste like two entirely different teas. Tea professionals have known this for centuries. In China and Japan, water has long been considered an essential part of tea preparation. Some historic tea texts devote entire sections to the subject. Certain springs became famous specifically because their water was believed to produce exceptional tea. So what exactly makes water different? One of the biggest factors is mineral content. You may have heard the terms hard water and soft water. Hard water contains higher concentrations of minerals, such as calcium and magnesium. Soft water contains fewer dissolved minerals. Neither is inherently bad, but they affect tea differently. Hard water can sometimes mute delicate flavors. Subtle notes may become harder to detect. The tea may feel heavier or less vibrant. Soft water often allows delicate aromas and flavors to shine more clearly. Many Japanese green teas, for example, tend to perform beautifully with softer water. This doesn't mean everyone should rush out and buy special water. In fact, many people discover that simple filtered water dramatically improves their tea. Removing chlorine and other impurities can make a noticeable difference. Sometimes the improvement is immediate. The tea tastes cleaner, brighter, more expressive. Another important factor is temperature. Technically, temperature isn't a property of the water itself, but it dramatically influences how tea is extracted. One of the most common mistakes beginners make is using boiling water for every tea. Different teas often require different temperatures. Green tea typically prefers cooler water. Black tea usually tolerates hotter water. Delicate teas can become bitter when brewed too hot. Others may taste weak if brewed too cool. The relationship between water and tea is really a relationship between extraction and balance. The goal is not to extract everything. The goal is to extract the right things: sweetness, aroma, complexity, texture, the compounds that make the tea enjoyable. This is one reason tea can be so fascinating. Small adjustments create noticeable changes. A different water source, a different temperature, a different kettle, a different brewing vessel. The tea remains the same, yet the experience changes. If you've ever traveled and noticed your tea tastes different away from home, water may be one reason. Cities have different water profiles. Regions have different mineral content. Even two homes in the same area may produce slightly different results depending on filtration systems and plumbing. The good news is that you don't need expensive equipment to experiment. A simple side-by-side comparison can be enlightening. Brew the same tea using tap water and filtered water. Pay attention. Notice the aroma. Notice the sweetness. Notice the finish. You may be surprised by what you discover. At TeaMinded, we often talk about attention. Tea encourages us to notice things we might otherwise overlook. Water is one of those things. It's easy to focus on the leaves because we can see them, but water is the medium through which the entire experience unfolds. Without good water, even exceptional tea may struggle to reveal its full character. Perhaps that's one of the lessons tea teaches us. Sometimes the most important ingredients are the ones we rarely notice. The next time you brew a favorite tea, take a moment to think about the water. Where did it come from? How does it taste on its own? How might it be influencing the tea? You don't need to become a water expert. Just becoming aware of its role can transform the way you approach tea. Because when it comes to a great cup of tea, the leaves matter, the craftsmanship matters, the brewing method matters, but so does the water. As TeaMinded continues, we'll keep exploring tea culture, craftsmanship, tea rituals, mindfulness, and intentional living through the lens of tea. But today, I hope this episode encourages you to pay attention to an ingredient that is often overlooked, even though it fills almost every cup. Thank you for listening to TeaMinded. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the podcast on Spotify and share it with someone who loves tea, coffee, craftsmanship, or simply learning how small details shape everyday experiences. And until next time, put the kettle on, pay attention to the water, and stay tea-minded.